Hey soldiers, I know it's probably difficult to see me. I'm out here at a community garden in the local area. I want to encourage you guys to start your own garden. They had these things called victory gardens back during World War II, where people were encouraged to, hey, start your own garden because we got to send a lot of this food over here to these troops. People did it with the little bit of space that they had, and they made it work. Well, now I want you to start a victory garden of sorts because of the economic situation that is occurring in the country and in the world. We've got to learn to become more self-sufficient to the extent that we can. Now, we're going to remove ourselves totally from, going to the supermarket or the butcher. No, we're not, okay? Especially if you've got mouths to feed. But look, these community gardens are in your area, and they can be great resources, especially if you don't have the space, or if you've got a little bit of space and you want to supplement it with more. These plots are affordable. Now, you can go, I'm not advertising this particular one, okay? This just happens to be one that I am aware of, okay? Now, while we're talking about this, I do want you to go ahead and hit that subscribe button. This is a financial channel like no other because we focus on wealth from a different perspective. Wealth, part of it means you're able to support yourself and your family without total reliance on the system, okay? Doing things like replacing a portion of your calories with food that you grow, food that you can trade for other items even on some sort of barter system. You can set up that because as these CBDCs or central bank digital currencies become more ubiquitous and we're seeing the proliferation of those, I'm telling you right now, you're going to want to have a parallel economy in place. And there's no better way to start that than to be able to supplement the calories that you and your family intake, okay? Don't talk to me about a big house or a fancy car or red bottom shoes if you can't eat, okay? That's the first thing that we as human beings need to do, because this asset, our number one asset, our body, mind, and soul, look, without those, we have nothing, okay? So I want to really hype this community garden, or not this particular one, but community gardens, the concept of community gardens. Now, again, go ahead, hit subscribe, because I want you to become a real soldier of finance, okay? We're after true wealth. That wealth is defined primarily as freedom. Now, when I was a lobbyist, I was making good money, and that was all good, but I wasn't free, all right, because I had to come in and I had to go to work. And there's nothing wrong with working, okay? Nothing wrong at all. I've worked plenty of jobs in my day, and that's fine. But I wasn't self-sufficient to the point that me and my family are now. Is it all roses and, palm trees and vacations? Absolutely not. But is it a superior feeling in terms of peace of mind to chart your own course? In my opinion, yes, it is. Now, again, one of the ways to do that you might consider is to get out there and start producing your own food. Now, me, I don't use a community garden, fine, but what I do is I grow fruit on fruit trees. We got apples, we got pear and peach / nectarine. Got some nectarine trees as well. Now, we could trade a lot of that, or what we end up doing is giving it to people, okay, to help them, like my family members. Also, squash and potatoes. That's what I grow. That's what I'm fond of, because potatoes are high calorie, all right? Squash is nutritious. And both of those foods have extremely long shelf lives compared to other vegetables if stored properly, okay? So this is something where you can stimulate your intellect, learn how to do something new, get physical activity, because yes, you start a garden, you will get physical activity. It's something that the kids can get involved in as well, because your kids, are they on TikTok? Get them off of TikTok. Get them off of all these video games. Get them outside with their hands in the dirt, helping to produce food for you and your family. And at least that this squash and these potatoes and this fruit, you produced it. And there are no chemicals involved if you choose to go that route, which hopefully you do, right? That's one of the advantages of producing some of your own food, is that it can be more nutritious in terms of not using pesticides and things like that. So I know you're probably thinking, wow, this is a different type of video for the financial genre. But again, what are we out here trying to make money for, right? If it is not to be free or as free as possible. That's why we're trying to make this money. All right, guys, I cannot get into this garden because I don't own a plot here. Okay, but I do want you to be able to see some of the plots. Okay, this place is pretty big. And there have got to be, just ballpark, there've got to be like 50 plots in here, okay? So a lot of potential, and there is also room for more. So this thing isn't even at capacity. We got folks growing everything. It's almost everything, if you know what I mean. I see asparagus, I see onions, all right? I see, what are those? That's kale or collards. I see a lot of stuff here. And I see a patch that it might be too early, but might be potatoes based on the fact that looks like it's been planted, but it's probably potatoes, I think, okay, the way they did it, okay, in the rows. So in any event, just want you to get a look at this. Again, you get a community garden, you can actually get on the inside, and you don't have to worry about this little fence here. But that's what it looks like, guys. All right, if you're a part of this community garden, you get some free compost. It's like that in most places, okay? But just to demonstrate some of the benefits that help you get started, help you and your family really start to build out your community garden, this is great stuff. So, Sun's not cooperating with regard to the video production and the the production quality, but that's okay. But that's what I wanted to come at you guys with real briefly today, is to just push you getting out there and starting to take back some control. For all you folk, and they're not really a lot, but for all you folk that are soldiers, but say, hey man, this is kind of scary, take control of it, okay, to the largest extent that you can. Get your family out here and start, producing your own food, trading it with others, creating relationships with like-minded individuals, so you can say, hey, I've got these butternut squash. Oh, and you've got, whatever it is, corn. Let's set up a trade or what have you. All right. You don't need the fiat currency involved in order to do that. If you come to a meeting of the minds with someone who has an item that they're willing to trade for an item that you have, right? You can completely cut the government out of that equation, right? And you can continually expand your horizons in terms of what you grow. And God, is it an awesome learning opportunity as well. I've learned so much about agriculture and in terms of helping these products grow. With my trees, it's like, wow, this is tough stuff in the beginning, because you got to cultivate this little sapling up into a tree, and then you got to, worry about beetles and different types of diseases that the trees can get. And I have just had such a good time learning how to walk through those types of issues, solve them. The feeling of reward is just tremendous. All right, guys. So look, I appreciate you walking with me, off the beaten path here. I want you to go and check out this video, because this video talks about the central bank digital currency and the dangers of it, and how they're really pushing for these things to be implemented so that they can maintain total and absolute control over your economic life, your life in general, all right? But again, you can't, if farmer over there wants some butternut squash and I want some corn, again, government doesn't have to be involved. So get into that mindset, thinking about how those types of relationships can be constructed and maintained, okay, for the betterment of you and your community. All right, we have gotten into this mode here lately where, in the last few years, and this is great, because I got a lot of, social media relationships that I built over the years with some great people all around the world. But also, let's not forget the value of that local community, that close-knit community that is geographically situated close to us, because there are benefits in those relationships as well. All right, guys, watch that video about the CBDCs. Get out there, find yourself a community garden or use some of your own land. Get the family involved and make it work. All right, guys, I'll talk to you soon.